Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter Show, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it right here. My name is Eric Lorda, and I'm here with my co-host, Joe Habeeb. We got a great show for you today, and if you want to call in, 570-530-8316. Let's get it started. BLK Prime. Is it Black Prime or is it BLK Prime, Beeb?
It's called BLK Prime, but I think we can figure out what the BLK means.
Well, I didn't want to say it's Black Prime if it's not Black Prime. It's BLK Prime.
Yeah.
But that's what I
thought. I'm not nitpicking at you per se. I'm just saying BLK means saying,
black. And Jesse Reekin says, I know it's 100% Beeb wrote this title. Yeah, he absolutely did.
I have no creative control.
Absolutely did.
I tried to renegotiate my contract 17 times.
Let me tell you this.
Every time I go to the board of directors, I can't get creative control. They won't give it to me. They won't give it to me.
Beeb called me up last night. He was so excited. He called me up and he said, did you see what I saw? And I said, probably not. And he said, I'm telling you, he's ready for a shot. I said, for real. I said, what did you see? That's it. He said, I'm ready for a shot. He said that Jake Paul is ready for prime time. I was like, well, look, I tell you what, I can't wait to hear you break it down on the show tomorrow. He said, I'm going to do that. And I was like, all right. And I've been looking forward to this all day. I've been really looking forward to this all day. But you guys are going to have to wait for that because we're going to start it off with the real fight that took place on Friday. Kind of, I guess. Beeb, let's start it off. BLK Prime pay-per-view. Thomas Herndon versus Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder wins by TKO in the 7th round. I think it was a good stoppage. A lot of people complained about the stoppage. Herndon looked like he didn't want to be in there. You know what I mean? It looked like he was buying out without buying out. I mean, Wilder wasn't Wilder didn't look good at all, to be honest with you. No. And I know it was a comeback. I know it was a knockout. And you're thinking, wow, well, look, I mean, if he got the knockout in the 7th round, how does he not look good? He didn't look good. He looks a lot slower than he was. The speed to me looks like it's gone. You're right. The timing, that's another thing. The timing was way off. Yeah. The reflexes were a little slower, and it's getting harder and harder for him to land that right hand, which is really the only weapon he's got. His jab is not there anymore. You remember when he fought? Who is it that he fought for the title for the first time?
That was the fight. The first time.
That
jab was incredible.
It was like a whip coming out. He was winning rounds on that.
Yes.
And that's why he won that fight. That jab won him the fight. The fact that and I remember interviewing him after that, and I said, how did it feel to box when they said you couldn't box, but you actually boxed your way to this title? And not anymore, man. That jab is gone. Yeah. That jab is gone forever. Any kind of boxing ability that he had, and he had limited boxing ability, to be honest with you. He wasn't as, if you take him and Usyk, there's a big difference in skills. It just is. But Wilder had the power. And so he would equalize a lot of that. And for 40 some odd fights, he found that equalizer, it's just not there anymore. It's just not. And that punch was not necessarily devastating at all. It looked more like guy just didn't want to be there, man. He really didn't.
I guess when I look at it from your perspective, it wasn't like the guy was going to win the fight anyways.
No, he was
offering up no resistance.
He didn't offer up any resistance. And, let me tell you this, like a prime Deontay Wilder would not have went 3 rounds with Herndon. Herndon would have been out of there in the first 3 rounds. No question.
I kind of wanted to see him go the distance, though. Just get a moral victory. I know I don't like getting. I don't like the moral victory things, but I don't know. It's something. I don't know. I kind of wanted that guy to just go the tap.
You wanted him to go the distance for a moral victory. Did you have money on him? You had money on the distance fight, didn't you? You had money on it.
I swear to God.
You had money on it.
I
know that look. I know. I want you to look at me, look at my eyes. I want you to look at my eyes and tell me you didn't have money on a fight.
I didn't have money in the fight.
You're lying. You're straight lying.
Remember that scene? Remember that scene in Casino? Remember that scene in Casino when he goes, "Tell me you didn't bet. Tell me you didn't gamble that money away. Tell me you didn't gamble that money away.
You
tell me you didn't gamble that money away, and I'll give you the money to put on the heat. You can put the heat on.
You can put the heat on. He took that money and gambled it."
That was hilarious.
He's like, "You degenerate. Yeah, I'll give you the money. Just tell me you." All right, I gambled it away. You got kids at home. He was like,
"I'll leave you where I find you."
Yeah, that was the best one. He's like, "Let me catch you gambling again. I'm gonna leave you where I find you."
That's awesome. I watched that movie probably at least twice a month.
Oh, it's the best movie, right?
You can always have access to that movie.
Oh, it's awesome. It's one of those movies that if it's on, you got to stop and watch it. You know what I mean? That's one of those movies. Machete's one of those movies. You just got to stop and watch it. You got to appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Got to appreciate the fine cinema. So, yeah, and also, too, Malik Scott is no longer Wilder's trainer.
Yeah, I saw that, and I heard that. I was reading about it before the fight, too, and I'm curious.
Which it's a plus, but it's not enough to make a serious comeback. He's done.
Yeah, he probably...
His reflexes are gone, and once your reflexes are gone, man, that's it.
Wilder's the type of person where he's just to me, he just comes off as a very stubborn person.
Yes.
And I'm sure many people have told him, "Hey, why don't you just step away, fade off into the sunset?" But he won't do it, And JD's is a guy that he's been with them forever, and you would think he would be more of a confidant for him, but JD,
I don't.
JD's doesn't care, man. JD's was the one that wouldn't pull him out of the second fight with Fury, right?
Yeah.
Where Mark Freeland was like, "I don't want you to take that punishment." It's like JD's he's the only guy that just doesn't say no to him. You know what I mean?
He enables him. He enables him. Yeah. I mean, because again, and Thomas Herndon is not a dangerous fighter, although any fighter is dangerous when you're in there. But overall, I mean, he's not that dangerous of a fighter. But, you got to think about it too. What's his next fight? Because he was going to win this fight, but what's his next fight going to look like?
Can I tell you something? You're going to think I'm crazy.
All right.
They're probably going to end up making that Anthony Joshua Wilder fight. You watch them do it. Because here's the thing. What else is out there for AJ too? If AJ can't get that Fury fight, and he may not get that Fury fight, Fury may stay retired this time. He just may stay retired this time. And if he can't get that Fury fight, what's he going to do? He's going to fight the winner of Dubois Usyk again. For what?
For what?
For what?
You lost.
He lost. I don't think he wins, right? So I think a cash out fight for both, like Fight Doctor said, a cash out fight for both AJ and Wilder would be to just fight each other, right?
Well, I'm going to I don't know. I don't know. Because there's still a lot left. There's still 6 more months left in this year. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do.
Well, let me ask you. Let's take Wilder out of the picture.
Okay.
I don't think AJ's is as far gone as Wilder, right?
Right. No, I think we'd agree on that.
I think he's diminished. There's no question about it, at least in my opinion. I don't know what you think. But where does it who does AJ fight? What do you do with him?
Jake Paul.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the fight that
I'm not kidding. That's the fight they're looking at. I understand
where you're coming from, but
that's
Jake Paul doesn't want that fight until 2026. He said.
Yeah, I don't understand. What do you do?
Even if Joshua were to lose to Wilder, and that's a big if, the Jake Paul fight is still doable in 2026.
Yeah.
Right. So I think the Joshua Wilder fight probably may happen. Call me crazy.
No, I think it might. I think it might. It's not out. Look, listen, it's not out of the realm of possibility. Who is? But it's taking place way past the expiration date.
Now Joshua may do an interim fight, right? Where are we now? We're in June right now.
When was his last fight? When was his last fight? Box record real quick.
Yeah, we have to. I can't remember. I want to say it was last fall, maybe. Let me see. I can't remember for some reason.
2024, not September 21.
Yeah, like I said, I thought it was in the fall. So
it's almost been a year.
Yeah, so he'll probably do like one stay busy fight, and maybe him and Wilder can get it on like in the winter. Maybe like he can do a fight in September and maybe come back in December, or maybe come back at the beginning of the year.
No way. No way. He either fights Wilder now, because he's been out. I mean, it's going to be close to a year that he's been out.
Well, you know what?
And you know what, man? That's no cupcake. If he was smart, he would come back right now and do it.
Yeah, I would probably have him come. I would probably have him come right now, come back right now. After seeing how Wilder looked,
yeah,
I would do it right now. Right?
And the thing is,
right now.
Yeah, for sure. I would do it right now.
But you know how Turkey Al-Sheikh is. He's constantly marinating fights. He's constantly doing these in-between fights and stuff. So
given the fact that Dana's there now, hopefully they don't marinate fights anymore, because everybody knows, like, when you marinate fights too long, man, you get in there, somebody's going to lose.
You're right.
It happens.
And I do think Turkey Al-Sheikh listens to Dana White, because we're already seeing his influence.
Yeah.
In the promotion of Crawford versus Canelo.
The press conferences were great. Press conferences were
really good. I love the style. They're actually doing a knockout bonus for that fight now too, I heard. I
heard that too. Yeah, I read that also. Yeah.
I'm curious that they wouldn't reveal how much it is, but I'm imagining it's at least 7 figures.
At least. Right? At least.
Yeah. And Max Kellerman is, shout out to Jesse Reekin. He was right again. I got to stop doubting him. Max Kellerman is going to be announcing the Canelo Crawford fight. He's part of the broadcast team.
I wish I could get Jim Lampley back.
I'm hearing Jim Lampley is coming back, but that has not been confirmed. That's been said on Twitter. John Anik, you know John Anik, the guy from the UFC?
Yeah.
He's going to be part of the commentary team as well, I heard. Him and Max. And
two like color guys, though.
Yeah, but you know what it is?
Usually have a color guy, an analyst, and then the guy who scores.
Yeah. Anik, I think, can do a little play-by-play, because
Anik's good. Anik's good. There's nothing wrong with him.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't Joe Rogan really the color guy? And John Anik is kind of like the play-by, maybe /color/play-by-play. I mean, he does inject a little bit of color into it, but he does. I do kind of see him doing the play-by-play mostly, but.
Yeah, that's true. He is a play-by-play guy. You're right. They're both play-by-play guys, though. I think that's what
I think. Jim Lampley was the play-by-play guy, and Max was more of the color commentator, I thought.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But
listen, they're all professionals, so they will be able to work together, no question.
So imagine if it's him, John Anik, and Jim Lampley.
Yeah. That's good, man.
Yeah, because they were interviewing Max, and Max said the same thing I said. And he believes what I believe because of Netflix being involved here. He thinks this is going to be the most viewed boxing match of all time. He agrees with me. I believe that too.
100 million people tuned in to watch Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
This is not going to surpass that.
I think it is.
No.
Globally, I think it will. I believe so.
100 million. That's a lot of people, man.
You have to. There's like 330 million Netflix subscribers globally.
Yeah.
Right. So 108 million. They Jake Paul, Mike Tyson did globally, and it
was on Netflix, so that was free.
And
that's why it'll be hard to beat, because it was a free fight. I mean, it wasn't free.
This is on Netflix too.
That's right. It is, isn't it?
So that's why I'm saying, Eric, globally,
but then, you got two big names there. Canelo's a big name. Listen, I get it. Canelo's a big name. Crawford's not as big. People know him.
I think Crawford has.
But with Jake Paul, like, everybody knew Jake Paul. Everybody knew Mike Tyson. They were both household names.
I think Canelo is more popular than Jake Paul. Maybe. Well,
nah.
Globally?
Go look at the Instagram, son. That'll tell you everything you need to know.
Yeah, that's true too. That's true.
Go look at that social media.
That's true.
Shout out to Big Texan for Beeb.
Get it down.
Good evening, Beeb.
Get it right down.
You spelled your name wrong. B-E-A-B.
Get it right down. Get it right down. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I think it's gonna be the biggest, most watched fight of all time. That's what I believe. But
you think so?
I do.
I would like to see. I wouldn't mind it. I just want to see a good fight. Hopefully, it's a good fight.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a good fight.
I think so too.
I think it's gonna be a good fight.
All right. So go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just said I think Crawford's gonna probably put on one of his best performances ever, in my opinion.
I think so too.
I think he's gonna be really up for the fight.
I do too. I've had Crawford from the beginning, I think.
You have. I actually switched to Crawford.
Man, I'll tell you what. What was up that BLK Prime? Did you
Oh God.
It was awful, wasn't it?
I hate dumping on it, but it was just
just like the production and everything, it was just awful, right?
I've seen Adrian Broner on BLK Prime. I've seen Terrence Crawford on BLK Prime.
It was bad, dude.
They always put on horrible shows, production-wise.
Production-wise, it was horrible.
They just do.
Yeah, I mean...
And we used to criticize the Zone a lot, but I got to be honest, and I tell Robbie this all the time. I think the Zone's gotten a lot better with their app and with their production. I think they've come a long way. Obviously,
yeah, they look good. They look all right. I mean, they should. They're getting paid $1 million a month by everybody. You know, I mean, what is that? What are you paying? $40 a month for DAZN? Yeah, I would imagine the production goes up. You know,
I canceled my subscription.
I canceled mine too.
Yeah, the way it is.
Way it is, son.
It's the way it is, man.
It's the way it goes down, man. DAZN pay-per-view. Jake Paul versus Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Beeb, I cannot wait to hear you break this fight down.
Come on.
Let me give you a synopsis before I kick it over to you, man. You think he's going to be the champion? This is who you're rolling with, man. That's cold-blooded. Jake Paul wins a unanimous decision over Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. by the scores of 97-93, 99-91, 98-92. I think I had it 97-93 as well. I had some high hopes for the fight, man. I was, I really did. I thought Chavez Jr. had some pride. Turns out I was wrong, man. He didn't throw any punches for like the first 8 rounds. And then the last 2, he tries to make a fight of it. I'm not sure what the strategy was. Chavez Sr., I've been watching like TikToks and seeing Chavez, the like clips of the fight and stuff. Chavez Sr. was in the crowd going nuts. They showed him last night, and they also showed him. He actually at one point came out of his seat, went to the corner, and was like yelling at Chavez Jr. to move forward, just trying to urge him on to go fight, stop backing up. I think it was pretty clear, man. Chavez Jr. was there for a payday. Jake Paul looked okay overall. He's got stamina issues for sure. But there's really no danger in fighting who he's fighting. My biggest problem, I'll tell you, my biggest problem with this fight is that he's probably going to be ranked after this.
Yeah.
And that's my issue with this, man.
That's the
Jake,
thing.
the greatest, but the whole part. Okay. So Jake Paul stated after the fight that he wants bigger challenges. Maybe stop fighting shot fighters. Maybe fight a boxer who's active.
He has not.
The only boxer he's ever faced was Tommy Fury, and he lost.
He lost, yeah.
He absolutely has no shot at any of the cruiserweight champions.
Yeah, the only boxer his age, his size, he lost to.
Yeah.
They're trying to say that he's much better now than he was back then. Based off of what, though? How do you know if you got better?
How do you gauge that?
You can't
with
gauge
who
that
you're fighting.
Because your competition hasn't gotten better.
No,
your competition since Tommy Fury has gotten worse.
And listen, I'll listen to the argument. Well, Chavez is a world champion, former world champion. This, that. Yeah, but he hasn't fought in years.
He lost to Anderson Silva. He's barely beat Uriah Hall.
Right. And look, and let me tell you where Jake Paul is. Jake Paul trains every day. Jake Paul's got professionals in his camp. He knows how to box, right? He does. He can clearly box, but he cannot beat anybody who's active and does this day in and day out. because of the people he's fought. What has he got? Like 14 fights now or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
But he fought who? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, who's he fought?
Well, the WBC ranks, I think, 30 fighters, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
Like, the other sanctioning bodies, I believe, only rank 15. So if he's in the WB, like I don't know, like if someone puts him in the top 15, that's a problem. Now, if he's like, if he's top 30, I'm not gonna go nuts over that. But if he's top 15, I'm gonna be like, what?
15?
What the fuck is that? There's no way he could be top 15. Maybe top 30, top 28, 29, whatever. But
does WBC still have that Bridgerweight thing?
I believe so. I haven't seen too many Bridgerweight fights as of late, but
yeah, like who is anybody? Let me see. Let me go to ESPN real quick. Heavyweight, cruiserweight. They don't even
rankings for it. No,
they don't have rankings for it. No.
And then Logan Paul.
That's the dumbest thing, Bridgerweight.
Yeah, and then Logan Paul was being interviewed before the fight, and they were asking him about was he ready for Canelo, and he said no. I don't think he was ready for Canelo. I'm glad that fight didn't happen. So his own brother was being kind of realistic about his level right now where he's at.
Yeah.
So give him credit for that at least.
And Chavez Jr. at the end of the fight says, no, he's not champion level. He's not like there, but he's a good fighter. That's what I mean. He gave him his due.
Yeah, I mean he's better than, he's a legitimate fighter. He's just not like a world-class fighter. I mean, there's over 10,000 registered professional fighters in the world.
Yeah.
And even if you're in top 30 in your weight class, if you're in a weight class with a couple thousand fighters, it's nothing to sneeze at. It's not a bad thing, but
no,
it's not the same as being.
But we really, like I said, man, you can't just fight like again Mike Tyson, who's almost 60, or maybe was
an exhibition. Like they weren't even really fighting.
I mean, what are you doing? Like
both of them were pulling their punches. It was just this.
But let me tell you this. Who's the money man in boxing? It's got to be Jake Paul. It is.
Well, I still think Canelo, after he still gets the mega paydays. Like he's going to be getting huge money for this fight. Joshua gets huge money. Like all you got to do is look at the Forbes list. Jake Paul was not in the Forbes list.
You're not beating that.
Those guys were. So
right. I mean, he's on the Forbes list. You're not beating that. You're just not.
Yeah.
So
Jake Paul's not on the Forbes list, but again, he for the types of fights he's fighting, still making 7 figures for these fights.
Right.
That's still
he's smart about it. He's getting big names, it's like, he's still getting big names to fight. Chavez Jr.'s big name.
Yeah.
You
have to look at it for what it is. And if you try to make it something it's not, or if you're listening to him trolling and you're taking the trolling serious, then that's shame on you. Shame on anyone who's doing that, because shame on the people that are doing that, because you got to call it for what it is. I mean, this is kind of like a shtick,
I expect Jake Paul to troll it, you know what I mean? But anybody else who thinks this is a real thing.
Yeah.
It's like watching what is that stupid baseball, the Globetrotter, like the Harlem Globetrotters.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's like watching them. Because if they go up against a college team, they're going to get mauled.
Of course.
They're going to get crushed in there.
Of course.
And same thing with those, what is it, the Savannah, what's the Savannah baseball team? The Bananas or Savannah Bananas. They were just here in Cincinnati.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't know that.
And they're the ones, I guess they do like dancing on the field and stuff. If they played a pro team or a college team, they're getting murked, They
used to be this team, right? I think it was, I can't remember if it was a softball team. I think it was a softball team, or I don't think it was a baseball team. It was a softball team. It was called The King and His Court. And they'd have like 3 players. And they would play like, do you remember that?
Softball. Yep, it was softball.
Softball, right? And they would play like, teams.
Would have a pitcher and like
2 outfielders or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Like they'd have the 2 guys play like in the midfield, kind of.
Yeah, and you couldn't touch that pitcher, man.
Yeah, and they would beat them.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
JC said it's like watching Eric and Robbie debate. That's right. It's a one-sided roll. One-sided. It's one-sided. It's one-sided. All right. So yeah, man. So and Jake Paul at the end was talking about fighting Ramirez, Zerto Ramirez.
That's not
He's gonna get killed.
That would never happen.
He was talking about Jai Opetaia. He mentioned his name, and then he mentioned Anthony Joshua's name. Any one of those guys are gonna kill him.
Zerto Ramirez said, if he thinks he's gonna, if he thinks he can beat me, or if he wants to fight me, he better stop making his funeral arrangements.
Yeah, because Zerto looked all right last night. He looked pretty good, but
Zerto's a solid fighter, man. Like I like him.
Yeah, I like him too. Yeah, but still, man, no way he beats any of those guys.
Yeah,
you kidding me? Yeah, it's just yeah. So I mean, for right now, the show goes on, and the show, and he knows what he's doing. Like he said, he knows he's a smart guy. Like he knows his limits.
Hashim Rottman was there, and at the post-fight press conference, he's like, goes up to the table. He starts like, "Oh, you're so much better now than you were. Like even when we were getting rid of, bro. This guy's like trying to campaign for,
yeah,
like throw me a bone here.
Yeah, exactly.
Get the fuck out of here."
ML says Zerto beats Jai Opetaia. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see, man. I don't know. Let's talk about that fight. Gilberto Zerto Ramirez versus Juniel Dorticos. Ramirez has the WBA and WBO cruiserweight champion, wins a unanimous decision over Dorticos. 115, 112 twice, and 117, 110. I wasn't like overly impressed with Ramirez, but he did win that fight, Yeah. Jai Opetaia called him out after he won. I think Opetaia beats him.
Oh, he would be favored in the fight. He would definitely be favored in the fight.
Yeah, I think Opetaia definitely beats him. But yeah, I mean,
it's an interesting fight.
Yeah, it's an interesting fight. But I expect a little bit more out of Dorticos, but I think he's seen better days too. He's been around
in age too. He's up there. He's like in his late 30s.
Yeah, he's been around for a minute, man. So I expect a little bit more, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
If you guys like what we're doing, remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Just hit the like button. It helps us out. It helps us out with the searches and stuff like that. So just do us a favor, man. Hit the like button and subscribe.
And the crazy thing was at the post-fight press conference, Jake Paul's promoter, Kanisa. How do you say his name? Kanisa, whatever his name is. I forget his name. Who
cares?
He's like, oh, well, people are criticizing me for fighting a 39-year-old old guy, but Zerto Ramirez just fought a 30. Yeah, but that's a different 39. That's a guy who's been active.
Well, if that's the case, why don't you fight Dorticos in your next fight?
Why don't you go fight Dorticos?
Yeah, you let me know how that goes.
Yeah. Fuck out of here.
Bang Mateo says, why is Zerto out of shape and soft in the middle? That's part of it too. He did look soft, man. I mean, he made the weight though.
The guy's never been ripped though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. He was. Listen, man, like I get it. He looked a little soft in the middle, but listen, he wasn't gassed in the fight, won the fight.
Shape. I mean, he can still go full. Like Jake Paul's never even. I don't think Jake Paul's ever gone 12. I think he's gone 10, but he's never gone 12. Yeah. So how are you gonna fight for a title if you've never even fought a 12-round fight?
And people forget. People like look at they remember like Evander Holyfield and stuff like that. Larry Holmes never had a 6-pack. You know what I mean? Larry Holmes, and that was like what the boxers used to look like back in the day. Now everybody's sculpted and everything like that. But I'm telling you, like back then, like especially like the heavier fighters and stuff like that, they all like resembled like a Larry Holmes look. Remember James Quick Tillis the same way, But it doesn't mean stamina. You'll see people running like marathons that look out of shape. It's a different thing. Different type of
thing. They
man.
call it skinny fat, I believe.
Yeah, right? yeah, you're right. Floyd Scoffield versus Tevin Farmer. This is a fight I think out of everything I was looking forward to the most because it was the most competitive, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. It shows you how much
right. Going in, that's what I thought.
Yeah, right. Schofield had the performance of the night here. Knocked out Tevin Farmer in the first round. Knocked him down once, put him away the next. I figured he would, Schofield looked amazing. Like I figured he would win, right? I didn't think he wins like that. I thought it was like a decision type of fight. I didn't think I thought it was a decision fight. You know, man, I tell you what, he ran right over that guy. Schofield looked really good. And this was on the heels of he was supposed to fight Shakur, wasn't he?
I believe so. That's correct.
And then something happened. I think he got sick or something like that.
Yeah,
I think
they said he got food poisoning.
Yeah, Schofield got food poisoning and had to give that shot up or whatever. And you're thinking, now how's he going to look here against Tevin Farmer? Because that's another guy that was pretty good, you know. Man, he wiped him out, man. Wipe out.
I don't think I've ever seen Tevin Farmer get beat like that before.
No.
Never.
JC wants to know, is Ilia Tapora that dude? I think he might be. I'm looking forward to him fighting Paddy Pimblett next. But I was telling Antonio last night, I think he might be the next guy coming up. I really do, in the UFC. He is something else. He's really, really solid fighter too. He can beat you anywhere. So he's good, man. No question. Let's see if we can bring Robert on here.
Bring that weasel on.
You just say bring that weasel on. What's the matter with you?
Sorry, I have to
530, you're live. Go ahead.
Hey Bobby, what's up, man?
Don't call me no weasel, Joe.
That's right.
I didn't call you a weasel. I said, hey Bobby, what's going on?
You said Bobby.
No, don't call me that. Don't call me that either.
Bobby.
Mrs. Herrick calls you that all the time, man. It's a term of endearment. Come on.
True story. I had surgery one time when I was a kid. I was like 8 or 9 years old, and I was in the recovery room, and the nurse kept calling me Bobby, and she kept slapping me in the face, and couldn't figure out why I wouldn't wake up. My mom's pounding on the recovery room door. Somebody finally goes over there and opens it, and she says, "All you have to do is call him Robert. He'll wake right up."
Come on,
and quit slapping my kid. Sure enough,
why didn't you
call me Robert?
Why didn't you wake up when she was slapping your face?
Because I was under anesthesia. They were trying to get me to come out of anesthesia, Eric. But I would not.
So what's that? Robert is the magic word.
I know.
She wakes up from a deep sleep. Is that if someone calls you Robert, it automatically wakes you up out of a deep sleep? Come on, Robbie.
Well, it did in this case.
Come on. First of all,
I don't believe
the story. The only way I would believe this story is if Mrs. Herrick came on the line right now and verified it, which I don't believe she'll do. She'll never do it.
No, she won't.
So that
anyway,
automatically the story is false.
How was it? Robert was. I mean, her slapping in the face wasn't like that. Didn't wake him up. But her saying Robert, like that jarred him.
Hey, if you guys don't want to,
he's telling you right now it's pure fiction. That's it.
Okay.
Like he's gonna lie to you and tell you he didn't buy the pay-per-view last night. Trust me.
No, I did not.
Yeah, which did you buy the you bought the Wilder pay-per-view, right? Or did you buy the Paul?
No, I didn't buy either one.
He bought them both. He bought a bundle.
What did you think about the BOK Prime? Did you thought it was like the production and everything? Wasn't it good, was it?
I didn't buy it, Eric. I don't
bought it, Robin. Stop it.
I saved money on both of those pay-per-views. Thank God.
Oh, now he saves money.
Buy either one.
No, he thinks he's
and I agree with you, Joe. I agree with you, Joe.
NBC.
It'll be Joshua and Wilder next. I totally agree with that.
I said that actually.
No, Joe's the one that brought that up first. I bet
no, I think I said Anthony Joshua was going to fight Wilder next because it had been a year.
As far as Jake Paul, Eric, I hate to say this, but the WBC is going to be stupid enough to rank him, and which means they're going to have him fight Badu Jack for the title.
You excited about that, Robert?
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely
not. I
Badu
think it's
Jack
ridiculous.
Crushes Jake Paul. That's not even close.
Absolutely, he does.
It's not even close.
Look, you need to start boxing when you're a kid. You can't come into the sport at 25, 26 years old and have 13 fights 2 years later. Okay, I'm ready for a title. It doesn't work that way.
I don't know. A lot of people started
exactly
boxing late. I mean, I believe Wilder started boxing late.
Yeah, Wilder started boxing. He
started in 19.
old.
He started at 19, yeah.
Right, 19. That's, I mean.
Was he 19 or was he 20?
Well, the story said 19 because that's when his daughter was born.
I mean, I
found out
check everything you say because you're not very reliable when it comes to information.
Go right ahead. But seriously, no, I bet you anything. That's what the WBC is going to do. And I don't like it, but that's exactly what's going to happen. Badu Jack will be Jake Paul's next opponent. And I think it's stupid.
I don't think Badu Jack is going to be the next opponent. I don't think Badu Jack is going to be the next opponent. Because I think
with the money that Jake Paul makes fighters, I could definitely see that happening, Eric, and I don't like it.
Yeah, I know you could see it happening, but I can't see it happening. Because Jake Paul knows. I mean, and people in his game, listen, man, his trainers aren't stupid. His people aren't stupid. They know he's not beating Badu Jack. He doesn't have a prayer of beating Badu Jack.
I agree with you.
And
I'm not supporting Jake Paul.
Well, what I'm saying is his people know this. Jake Paul is going to get somebody else. He'll find somebody else, whether it's Tommy Fury or whoever. He'll find another retread or whatever, and he'll go with it. But he's not fighting anybody dangerous. Trust me.
I hope you're right.
Yeah, Raphael 32 says Bone Crusher Smith started late.
Okay, that's another one I forgot about.
What about Ray Mercer?
But
Ray Mercer was in the Olympics, I think, wasn't he?
Yeah, want to go?
Yeah, he was.
Edward Torres says Chavez took a dive.
And as far as the Crawford Canelo fight, I don't know if you're aware of this, but Canelo asked Turkey, "Please give me a smaller ring so nobody runs away from me."
Yeah, did you happen to hear that, Joe?
Not going to run anyway.
Robert, enough with the TMZ stuff, okay? Right. You weren't there.
You talking to real people, son.
You don't know what Turkey said, okay? There's no way you have access to Turkey. You don't know what he's saying. You don't know the information. So stop running with this, please.
Well, hell,
I just googled what at what age did Deontay Wilder turn pro, and guess what? It came up. 23 years old. So you were wrong again. 23. You were wrong again. Wrong again with the information.
What's the matter with you?
Okay, I'm going to get out of here, guys. This is ridiculous.
All right, Robert, we'll put you back on hold.
Take a walk, will you? The guy thinks he can come on here and mislead the audience with impunity, and we're just going to let him do it. This is a quality show.
That's not nice, Pete. Come on. You really should reconsider that.
We have to uphold the standards.
Well,
please.
You're right about that. All right, let's see here. 419, Beeb, where do the best calls come from?
Ohio, baby.
Ohio, baby. 419, you're live.
Yeah, what's up, y'all? This is Raphael 32 again.
Raphael, what's going on?
Raph? How you doing, brother?
How y'all doing? I'm not drunk this time. Last time I talked to y'all, there's a lot of pauses. I'm straight talking. Okay, I'm gonna start off with Jake Paul. What he has done for boxing, he has done mainly for the undercards. Setting up real fighters in good fights, competitive fights. What comes to mind? Taylor and Serrano twice. Having I think it was Serrano have her own card. He's good at setting up other fighters for their card. Now, him getting into boxing, he has the money. All other YouTubers follow him over to the boxing. You have to look at, this guy was a Disney kid. This guy had a mass following on YouTube and on all the other social media.
Yep.
Which I'm not hating on. But when people talking about, okay, I get he's good for a boxer. Is he learning? No, he's not even a good contender. I really think a good contender will be him. I know a good contender will be him. he has a lot of money. When he first got into boxing, got his money together and paid the best trainers to train him and teach him boxing, which is nothing wrong with. But the average Joe who wants to get into boxing, they can't do that. You know what I mean? Unless they're big and strong, and a promoter or a trader sees something in them that they can make some money. It's all about making money in the sport. He has his own money. He funds his own fight. Okay, I'm done with that. Now, for Kid Austin, that was a complete surprise. I had Farber winning that fight. I had Schofield upsetting Shakur, but he got sick. That was I didn't think he had the grit to when he saw that opening on the first knockdown, he took it with the right hand, bam, and down goes Farmer, and then just completely finished him. Did I think the kid had it in him? Yes. Did I think he was going to do that against Farmer? No. Farmer came off a loss against Muratila, which some pundits think he won. He came off the first fight with Zapita, which everybody thought he won. And the third fight, me personally, he fought a good fight, but the third fight, he threw his shoulder. He didn't win that fight. Now, to the Griffin and Rodriguez, big shouts out to Rodriguez, being an amateur with 300 fights, who did he get beat by? Oh, it's hard to tip about it. He got knocked out by somebody. But it's been a long time since he fought. And that was a very, very good back and forth fight. That was Griffith really had that fight. It was competitive. It went back and forth, very close. I seen when Rodriguez hurt him in the ninth round, and I'm like, if he could do that again, Griffin is finished. And sure enough, he did it in the 10th round, and it was over. And the Curiel fight, Rodriguez, that was competitive. Curiel, he stepped on the gas pedal and beat the living bust out of Rodriguez. Rodriguez tried to hang in there, but he just couldn't handle Curiel. What's my man's name? How do you pronounce his name? Zadoro or Zerdo?
Zerdo.
Okay, Zerdo to me lost the last full. Zerdo lost the first 4 rounds, maybe 5. And then all of a sudden you saw Zerdo just putting his punches together. You know what I mean? And it looked like Dorticos was getting gassed a little. So, and the Paul fight, I don't even want to talk about that because Cocaine Head Chavez Jr. He's been done for a while. He's not had his best days since Sergio Martinez, and his days are done. Like you guys said before, he was just there to collect the paycheck. Yep. But that was a good card. It was a great card. The Paul was booty. The Paul fight was booty, but the rest of them, that was great boxing. Was good, very good boxing.
He does tend to put on good cards. All right, Raphael, we're going to get rolling, man. Thank you so much, man. Beep, he's right, though. He does tend to put on good cards.
Yeah, the undercards are always
good. Look at that Tyson undercard. Was a good undercard. It had the what's her fault? Katie
Taylor versus Amanda Serrano. But I think Badu Jack was on that undercard too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see here. 410. I think this is Baltimore.
This Jerry.
You're live.
All right there. Yeah, Ringside Reporter.
Ringside.
Whoa, please. Please.
Hey, Robbie, he wasn't putting up with your shit this week. He might get sexually abused.
Well, Jerry.
He might get sexually abused by a nurse while under anesthesia, but he's not having shit.
This guy's got more stories than Walt Disney.
Jake Paul, Yeah, I think Jake Paul probably going to wind up fighting someone like a Badu Jack. He's already talking about it. You can kind of see, with Tyson, which that was Fugazi, but now with Chavez, he's headed in that direction because the gate is up. Really, there's nothing. There's not much left for him to do. There's really no old UFC stars, at least that I can think of, that are smaller that he can, kind of cherry pick. That's where he's at right now. And guess what? He may do better than what we all think. He just might, especially if he picks an old dude. Badu Jack is old. And oftentimes he has a size advantage. I don't know if he would against Jack. I don't know what Badu Jack. I didn't know Badu Jack was still fighting. But I could see something like that happening. But I don't care. I didn't buy that bullshit last night. I knew Chavez wouldn't fight. When he fought Canelo, he didn't fight the whole fight. He tried to fight in the last round, and he had some success. And from my understanding, that's what he did last night. When he actually decided to fight back, he had a little success towards the end. Anybody should have seen that come in. I certainly didn't buy Deontay Wilder, his chunk. I mean, I've seen Bob Arum's little heavyweight, what's his name, Richard Torres, beat the dog shit out of that guy that Wilder went 6 or 7, 8 rounds with. I don't know. Wilder's washed. Yeah. I can't stand the guy. He's one of the few fighters in boxing I just can't stand. So I'd like to see him fight Usyk and just take another ass whipping.
There you go. There you go.
And let me see. Hold on. And lastly, Scoffield. I picked Scoffield to stop Tevin Farmer. I don't know why people were sleeping on Scoffield. He really hasn't, that was a step-up fight for him for sure. Tevin Farmer, a real tough guy, he's proven that. But the reality is he got beat by Zepeda. Zepeda beat the brakes off of him in those fights, if you ask me. And that last one, there was several times that fight could have been stopped where Farmer looked like he was just done. He's a tough guy, takes it to the body like no one you ever seen. But Zepeda, he gets his stoppages not with power so much as pressure. And, if he could punch a little harder, he probably would have stopped him at any point in that fight. And the pressure Farmer stood up to. Schofield, I picked him by stoppage. I thought Farmer would hang tough 6, 7 rounds, but it just happened the way it happened. And so good. Let's see where we go from here with Schofield. But what I see is a two-fisted, very athletic, very fit, strong fighter. He can fast hands, can box, can punch. Looks like he can do it all. So hopefully we get to see more of him and they continue to step him up. All right, guys.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Jerry.
All right, guys.
Hi, Jerry.
805, California.
Is that Notch?
I think it might be.
Nacho.
What's up, Beeb?
What's going
up,
on?
Beeb?
Notch. Nice and quick, too. Nice and quick.
All right. How about you guys?
Quaaludes. I love it.
Go. He's off the Quaaludes. So stop.
Yeah, I saw how you were trading Robbie, so I figured I might as well start chiming in quickly so you don't start getting on me. So, all right, let me just cut to the chase, fellas. I kind of agree with what the guy before Jerry said. Jake Paul's a better promoter than he is an actual fighter.
Sure.
He's been doing what he's doing, and, it's all smoke and mirrors. And anybody who legitimately follows the sport has been seeing that, it's a guy who literally has been using smoke and mirrors to kind of get away with what he's getting away with. That being said, I'm shocked. No, actually, no, I'll take it back. I'm not shocked because he's become somewhat of a cash cow in that he's convincing people that he moves tickets. He's out there. He's a name. I could totally see him trying to make a run at Badu Jack. And Eric, to be honest, it's not out of the realm of possibility because think about it. He just fought a 39-year-old guy last night. Badu Jack's about to be 42. So you're kind of looking at.
Will you tell me the difference between those two, between Chavez Jr. and Badu Jack right now? What's the difference?
The biggest difference is Badu Jack has been fighting regularly, is a champion.
There you go.
And hasn't been sitting on the sidelines. Yeah.
Badu
No, don't
Jack,
get me wrong.
Olympian and still active. Former Olympian and still active.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the work ethic is much different too. Obviously, there's a difference in work.
Well,
yeah.
I think you're kind of stretching it there, Beeb. If I'm honest with you, I don't think if you're putting Chavez Jr.'s work ethic on the table versus Badu Jack, I think it's 1A and 1B.
I mean, this guy is a guy who trained in a living room with underoos on, eating Fruit Loops,
and then jumping on the treadmill
and shadow boxing.
Yeah, that's
please.
I was just gonna say
one heck of a
I was just gonna say,
tell you.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Eric, but you got to think about it. It's totally possible that Badu Jack could get old overnight.
It is.
I mean, he is in his 40s.
But let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Even if Badu Jack does get old overnight in that ring against Jake Paul, I still maintain that he beats Jake Paul.
And think about this. Tommy Fury wasn't a world beater either.
No, and he beat him. Now I thought in fairness, I thought Jake Paul won the fight. It was real close though.
I do think Tommy beat him, but some people do think that some people think Jake Paul won, but I thought Tommy eked it out.
But let's face it, that was Tommy Fury.
Yeah.
And Tommy Fury was a legit fight. Had 10 fights, everything like that. Wasn't his brother. I get that. Wasn't, but again, he beat him. The one fighter he fought beat him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then just real quick on the other fights. Schofield, crazy. I picked Farmer to win that fight.
A lot of people
did not see that coming. You give that kid credit. He blew out a tough seasoned veteran. Honestly, though, guys, I don't think he's ready to contend yet. I'm not seeing a guy who's legitimately ready to be a contender in the division. I think he still needs at least 2 or 3 more fights against tougher veterans to kind of prove that he's ready. What do you guys think of a fight of Schofield versus like a Baranchuk?
I like it.
I
think Schofield's, man, I tell you what, man, I think Schofield is ready. I think Schofield is ready. I think I'd love to see him fight Baranchuk. I'd like to see him get a little bit more seasoning before he takes those big fights, and just a little bit more like step up fights. Again, like Baranchuk would be good.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I will tell you, I think he's good, man. I really do. Can he beat Shakur? I don't know. That's a pretty tall order.
You know who he should fight? He should fight a guy like Nakatilia. That would be a good fight for him.
That would be a good one too.
That'd be a good fight.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea either. And then with Zurdo like was asleep at the wheel for the first 3 to 4 rounds until he finally woke up. And then after he woke up, he just pretty much dominated Dorticos, and he won easily. I'm still not convinced that him and Golden Boy are going to eventually fight Opataya. I think they're kind of avoiding him.
Yeah.
I think most likely there is a good chance that David Benavidez might get the call before Jai Opataya gets the call, to be honest. Like, I just don't see him fighting Opataya anytime soon. I think he's going to try to fight somebody like Benavidez before he fights Opataya.
So you think Benavidez moves up without getting the title at 175 first?
I could see it be because he has a chance to fight a guy and take 2 belts at cruiserweight.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
I mean, I could see him jumping to cruiserweight because think about it, Beeb. Benavidez is a guy who's walking around at 200 plus before he gets into training camps.
Yeah.
If he fights at cruiserweight, he doesn't have to cut an extra 10 to 15 pounds anymore. He can literally walk in the ring at 190, 195 and be fine. So, I think that would make a bigger difference for him, not having to cut so much weight to get down to 75. So, that's just how I'm seeing it. And then lastly, with that Griffin Rodriguez card, that Rodriguez kid, I remember him on some of the Top Rank shows before when he first was coming out. And then he got beat by Jose Pedraza, which was kind of a bad loss, and I think they kind of wrote him off. So him coming out and beating that Griffin dude last night was a big win for him, and who knows, maybe
that Griffin dude.
There's a rumor going around that.
Yeah. There's a rumor going around that Rodriguez got signed by TKO Promotions. So it sounds like Turkey snatched him up after the fight was over and signed him to his promotional company. So, you know. All right, guys. I'll let you guys get to somebody else.
All right, Nacho. Thank you so much.
And I forgot, David Benvdas is a champ at light heavyweight because when Bivol was stripped, they elevated him to full champ.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So maybe Nacho's right. He can become a 3-weight division champion.
Yeah, that's possible.
Gotcha.
All right, let's get the upcoming fights here. July 5th, next Saturday, from Manchester, England on DAZN, Jack Catterall versus Harlem Eubank, 12 rounds, welterweights. Beeb, you think he wins? You think Harlem Eubank beats Catterall, huh?
Yeah, I'm picking Harlem Eubank, but it's a tight fight.
Wow,
it's a tight fight. I'm picking Harlem Eubank. Yeah.
Joe Cordina on the co-main versus Jarrett Gonzalez-Quiroz, 10 rounds lightweights, and I think that's about it. Let's see what else here. That's it for next week. That's it, because it's 4th of July weekend, I think. So not a whole lot ever going on then.
And I like that. I like that Catterall fight. I think it's a good fight for Harlem Eubank.
Yeah, and then the following week here we got on July 12th we got DAZN, Edgar Berlanga versus Hamza Shiraz. That's a good fight.
That fight.
I love that. Is a really good fight.
Is that the main event in Shakur versus Shakur's fight?
Yeah, it's the main event, and they got Shakur versus Zepeda.
Is the co-main, right?
Is the co-main? Yeah.
Wow. Okay,
that's pretty crazy. Alberto Puello versus Subriel Matias, David Morrell versus Iman Katev. Man, that's a good card. In Queens,
that's a solid card. Yeah,
that's a solid card.
That's not a pay-per-view either, is it? That's a free card, right?
Well, it's on DAZN.
Yeah.
So let's see. In El Paso, Texas, we got on DAZN, Stephanie Han versus. Stop it. Come on. And then on July 11th, I forgot to mention, that's the Katie Taylor Amanda Serrano rematch or 3-match. Who cares? Are you watching that? I'm not watching that. That whole card, it's got Alicia Baumgartner's on it, Savannah Marshall's on it. Who cares?
I'll watch it.
I'll watch it if it's on OnlyFans. That's about it.
Please.
I didn't even say nothing. I didn't even do nothing, man.
Show some respect to these young women.
I did. I didn't know. I didn't even say nothing, man. Come on. What's the matter with you?
losing sponsors by the second.
All right, let's get to the news and rumors. Not a whole lot here. Canelo Crawford is going to be in Beeb Allegiant Stadium.
Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting,
okay.
Right? Is this going to be?
And it's going to be during the day. From what I understood, it was going to be during the day. 60 to 70,000. That seats. Do you think it sells out?
Oh, without a doubt. It's
really?
In Vegas. It's in Vegas, right near California. Oh, of course it does.
Wow. Okay.
And the tickets probably aren't going to be crazy expensive because stadium fights are usually cheaper than arena fights, but they'll still be up there, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure they'll still be up there.
They'll still, if you want to get close to the ring, you're going to have to pay some buku cash. But, but there's going to be a lot of cheaper seats available, I would imagine, the ones that are going to be way back. Because you think it's 65,000 people or 70,000 people. That's a lot of people. So there's going to be a lot of cheaper seats available, in my opinion. So,
yeah, I agree. Yeah, I wonder what the tickets are going to go for. I wonder what those tickets are going for.
Yeah, it's a great. I'm sure they're going to have the crazy luxury.
Have tickets gone on sale yet?
I don't know, Eric.
I got to talk. Yeah, I got to talk to you off air because I think Beeb Industries we can get a suite over there.
Okay.
All right, I think we can get a suite over there, Beeb, because I've talked to the guys at Beeb Industries. They were telling me they were thinking about getting it. I think we can be up there in a suite, but that's just me. I don't know. We got to talk to the people.
We'll dip into the petty cash fund. We'll dip into the petty cash fund. See what we got.
Yeah, we're not going to go into the general fund. I mean, I'm talking about the petty cash industry fund.
Yeah,
easy stuff.
You can write this off. Don't worry about it.
Oh, I appreciate that, B. Thank you. I thought, I knew you'd be down for that idea. I knew you'd be down for that. We write that off. No big deal. Let me ask you a question because I've been loving the press conferences here.
I have. I like them.
I've been loving the press. I told you they're better, right? When Dana's involved, it's just better.
Yeah.
Right? It is. The press conferences are much better. The UFC press conferences are all over boxing.
Way better. Way better.
The big beautiful Beeb Industries bill.
Oh, God.
It's always funny when he gets me off track. I'm talking to us. I look at a comment and just start laughing.
He's actually really, he has some good ones in the chat. I got to shout out to
JC is really
and
good.
He's a good sport, man, because I used to always bust his balls because he had someone else's logo. And then I bet him. Then I bet him.
Who do you have, the Wingy logo or something?
I think he had the Wingy logo.
All right.
And I bet him something. I won the bet, and the bet was
and he has to turn it into
yeah. And he's kept it ever since. He's never changed it.
Yeah.
So I gotta give him full respect. And he's always one of the first people here to have, no matter no matter what show I do, whether it's Maestro, you, or whatever, he's always one of the first people in there. So shout out to JC, man.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Okay, so I've been liking the press conferences and everything. Let me ask you a question, Ed. Have you and I know you've watched them just as well as I have. I think Crawford is getting to Canelo.
And I'll tell you,
I'm
going to say something. Every time he goes deeper in, because now, and I was saying this to myself, I was like waiting for him to pull this card out of the deck, and he finally did. So when he said, "Oh, well, you don't have any elite names on your resume," Crawford snapped back at him. Well, every time you fought an elite fighter and you stepped up, you lost, right? And he's. And the thing too is
Mayweather, Bivol,
Crawford is really coming back with some snappy one-liner. Like he's really upped his game when it comes to the media.
The trash talk and everything like that. I mean, Crawford's always been, Crawford's always been a mean guy. You could see that. You know what I mean? And you could see it in his training. You could see it in the ring.
But I think Turki Al-Sheikh told him, we need you to play the Floyd Mayweather role here. It's going to help the promotion. I do believe maybe that could be the case. And that's why I think he's kind of stepping it up even a little bit more. You know what I mean? That's why Canelo's like, "Oh, well, Turki told you to push me." And he's like, "No, he didn't push you. He kind of walked you down a little bit. You pushed him.
Yeah.
You pushed him. He didn't push you."
No. Yeah, he was walking forward. He kept walking forward on him.
He stepped to him. And then he started laughing. I gotta be honest with you, man. I'm really feeling how Crawford's like conducting himself at these press conferences. He's really making a strong concerted effort to sell this fight, and I like to see that.
Yeah, and Gavin's Ghost, I think this is a big one. He said Turki got in his ear and says, "Hey, don't be boring, LOL." I think there might be a lot of truth to that.
I
really do, and I think it's on both sides.
And Dana, you could tell Dana was kind of laughing about the whole thing, so he's probably in on it too. But then when like other people started jumping and you saw Dana's face, he was like he got a little nervous. But when Crawford, Canelo were doing that stuff, you could tell Dana was laughing. He didn't really care, but he got concerned. It's always when the entourages jump in.
The entourage is what ruins it for everybody.
They ruin it for everything because the fighters know, hey, we're getting ready to fight in a couple months or a couple weeks, whatever the case may be. We're not going to fuck up the bag. The entourages don't give a shit.
They don't care.
They got nothing to lose.
Right. Exactly. So but those press conferences have been great, man. I love watching them and everything, and the build up to it has been good.
Oh yeah,
everything is good, man. Everything it looks great. You know what I mean? So now all they got to do is wait for September to get here, man, and it's going to be here before you know it. So there you go.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I got the countdown clock on my phone. I'm waiting for it. I'm excited.
It'll be here, man.
I was disappointed the Benvdas fight didn't happen, but can I tell you something? The reason why, and this is going to sound ridiculous right now, the reason why I'm starting to kind of warm up to this fight is, but judging on how, and you've been telling me this for the last year, and I wasn't 100% sold on it, but now I am. I think these last two fights confirmed it. Benvdas would have beat him bad, and he knows it. And this fight, I think, is a more competitive fight.
Now, listen, I disagree. I disagree with the sentiment there. Canelo thinks, I'm sure Canelo knows in his head he beats Benvdas. I don't think he's scared of Benvdas. I don't think he likes Benvdas. And I think that's a big deal. I really do. I think that's a big deal.
Maybe those are strong implications for me. Here's what I'm going to say. I don't think it's a fear thing. I think he knows that there's a chance he could lose. Like fighters know
it's a harder fight than
like
this
Chael
guy, or harder fight than that guy.
Chael Sonnen said this. He was on the Andrew Schultz podcast, and he goes, obviously, I trained for every fight hard, and I wanted to win, but I knew when I was going in there with guys better than me.
Yeah,
I knew, you know what I mean? Like, and I think Canelo's looking at this, saying this guy's going to be 200 pounds come fight night. This guy's going to bring the volume. This guy doesn't get tired. And this is a fast-paced, like, I believe, and again, based off of opinion, he knows this is that's a bad style matchup for him.
Yeah, I agree. It really was. I think you're right. And I think, again, like, if you can get an easier fight, get an easier fight. Or if you get
he's probably going to make more money in this fight than he would get in that fight.
Absolutely.
Or at least
absolutely.
Probably more, though. I think if Turki Al-Sheikh wants a fight, he's going to pay for it.
Yeah, for sure.
Turki Al-Sheikh was never crazy about that fight for whatever reason.
I don't know. Yeah. Like I said,
I never crazy about that fight.
No, he wasn't.
Never was.
No, he wasn't. All right, guys, that'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Joe Habeeb on X at jhabeeb1. Find our YouTube channel at ringsidereporter.com, and you can find me on X at ringside73. And guys, we will see you next week.